If you think accessibility is optional, your site is already broken. Not maybe broken, not edge case broken, broken. Because accessibility isn't about a tiny group of users you'll never meet. It's about real people using real devices in real situations, many of which you've probably been in yourself. Most accessibility failures don't show up in error logs. Users won't open GitHub issues. They won't send angry emails. They'll just leave. And you'll never know why. Let's clear one thing up right away. Accessibility is not about making your site look ugly, and it's not about adding a checklist at the end of the project. Accessibility is about how your app actually works when someone doesn't use it the same way you do. So let's talk about the fundamentals every front-end developer should know. First, keyboard navigation. This is the fastest way to expose whether your app is accessible or not. Unplug your mouse. Don't touch the trackpad. Just use the keyboard. If you can't navigate your own app, neither can a lot of users. Buttons should be focusable. Links should be reachable. Dropdowns should open. Modals should trap focus and release it correctly. Focus should never disappear into the void. If someone tabs through your page and suddenly has no idea where they are, you've already failed. And no, this is not just for screen reader users. Power users use keyboards. People with motor impairments rely on them. Broken trackpads, temporary injuries, bad posture, all of that counts. Keyboard navigation is not a nice to have, it's the baseline. Second, semantic HTML. This one hurts because it's so easy to ignore. If something looks like a button, but it's actually a div with an on-click, it's not a button. And no amount of CS will change that. Buttons should be button elements. Links should be anchor tags. Headings should follow a logical order. Not because best practices say so, but because assistive technologies rely on semantics, not styling. Screen readers don't see your UI. They read structure. They navigate by landmarks, headings, roles, and relationships. If your entire app is a pile of divs, a screen reader user has no map. You wouldn't remove all road signs and say, just figure it out visually. That's what bad semantics does. Third, labels and accessible names. Every input needs a label, not a placeholder, not a tooltip, not we'll add it later, a real label. Because placeholders disappear. They don't get read reliably, and they don't explain errors. Icons need accessible names. If you have an icon-only button, a screen reader still needs to know what it does. Submit, close dialog, open menu. If a screen reader can't describe it, it doesn't exist. And here's the brutal truth. If your form is confusing with a screen reader, it's probably confusing for everyone else too, just less obviously. Fourth, color contrast and feedback. If color is the only way you communicate state, you're excluding users. Errors that are only red. Success messages that are only green. Active states that only change color. That doesn't work. Users with color vision deficiencies won't see it. Users in bad lighting won't notice it. Users on low-quality screens will miss it. Errors need text. Success needs meaning. State needs more than color. Accessibility isn't about removing design, it's about adding clarity. And clarity helps everyone. Now let's talk about a myth that refuses to die. Accessibility slows development. No, bad architecture slows development. Most accessibility issues come from fighting the platform instead of using it. Native elements already handle focus. They already work with keyboards. They already expose roles and states. When you replace everything with custom components, you inherit all that responsibility. Accessibility is not extra work. It's the cost of doing custom UI without understanding the rules. And when you get it right early, it actually makes your code cleaner. Clear structure, predictable behavior, fewer hacks. Here's a simple rule you should remember. If you can't use your site without a mouse, without color, or without sight, it's not accessible. And accessibility isn't about being perfect. It's about not excluding users by default. You don't need to memorize specs. You don't need to become an expert overnight. You just need to stop treating accessibility as an afterthought. Because accessibility is not charity. It's not compliance. It's not extra polish. It's just good front-end engineering. If this helped, follow for more front-end fundamentals most tutorials never teach.